And hello, everybody, letting everybody in. We are doing the six pillars of VO Masterclass. This is the meet and greet. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Takia, I want to first of all thank you. When everybody's coming in, she's my assistant tonight, and she's going to be letting people in from the room and all of that, the waiting room. So feel free to join on camera. This is just a casual meet and greet until the bottom of the hour. And then I will basically mute everybody. I actually forgot where that was, but I'm pretty sure I have it here somewhere. Okay, so yes, I know where that is. Okay, so feel free on camera, open your mics if you have no background sound. I'd love to meet some of you guys and see if you have any, want to introduce yourselves. Those of you that I don't know, I'm looking at some familiar faces. Gunner's here, Fred's here, Michael,
Hello.
Todd. I know your name, but I have not seen your face. So hi.
I have been in and out of a couple of the Friday coffee
Oh,
flat
right, the happy
chains.
hour. Okay, cool. All right.
Happy hour,
Hello,
yes.
Yeah,
hello.
the
Hello,
happy
hello,
hour.
hello.
Good. Welcome.
Coffee? Yeah, maybe not.
Hello.
Hello, Brett's here. Alexia from TikTok. Hello. Lots of people from TikTok. I'll have you guys put that. Sarah. Hello, Charles. Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Hey.
James.
Hi.
Lou. How's
Dress
everybody
code.
doing?
Dress code
What?
in purple.
I love it. It looks great. Remind me where you're in Brazil,
Me?
Steve? Yeah, remind me where you are.
Argentina.
Oh,
Argentina.
Argentina. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I knew it was down there, sort of somewhere. Argentina. All right, that's really far down. But you're on pretty much the same time zone-ish, I want to say.
Here 2020 at night.
Okay. So you're an hour ahead. Um, Very good. All right. Well, welcome in, guys. Um, so let me see how this goes. So we got a lot more people than. Why don't we do this? If you could share a little bit about yourselves in the chat, being that we have a lot of people showing up for the meet and greet. We got a decent amount of people that are also joining for the regular masterclass too, but I imagine we'll have most people. But please share, where you're from at least. Somebody else also might see it and, maybe find someone in your area. This is sort of, if you've never done, this is your first kind of event, then for voiceover, then you may find somebody that's nearby. I've had people find out that they were like a couple of miles away from each other, and then they wind up finding people they really connect with. And this is sort of where your network starts if you've never done this, if you've never been to a voiceover event before. So I want to be the first to welcome you. I'm Trish. We're going to be getting into, more of who I am, those of you that are not familiar to me. But I want to thank you guys for coming in. So let me know also, and I'll ask this again once we get into the actual master class, but let me know where you're from and how you found me, whichever platform you came in from. If you're VO Vantage, hashtag VO Vantage, that's my membership. And if you came in from TikTok, I have people come in from Facebook, Instagram. I kind of put myself out there in a lot of different places, so I always like to see who's coming in from where. Very good. All right. That's great. Hi, Jeremy. Jai, hello. Uh,
Hello, good evening.
hello. Let's see. Toronto. Nice, Toronto. Sorry.
Rana.
Toronto. Uh, let's see. Takia's here. Brett. Um, Middle Tennessee, Southern Middle Tennessee. That's very specific, Brett.
That's what they call it here, so I'm just going
Really?
with the flow.
That's cool. All right. Um, Very good. All right. New Mexico from Ohio. That's a bit of a change. I went to
Yeah, it
Texas
was.
from New Jersey. Was it a job or what brought you?
I followed my wife out here. She got
Okay.
a good job at the very large array out in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico.
Okay. All right. Very nice.
Nice.
I'm
I
sure
grew
she
up
was
next to the
happy that you
VLA.
followed her.
Oh, sweet.
Was
I'm
that?
in Magdalena, if that means anything to
Oh,
anybody.
nice. I grew up in Mangus, or near Quamato, if you know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep, way out in the mountains on the grandfather's cattle ranch.
Yes, even farther in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
So, let's see. Alicia, hello. Can't
Hello again.
remember.
Been a
That's
minute.
hello, Alicia. Yes, nice to see you. You came in from a TikTok also, right?
I think I found you on Reddit. Unfortunately, I have a
Oh,
husband that works in IT, so TikTok is not allowed in our house.
oh, okay. Uh,
Hmm.
for some reason, I could swear that I saw your name because it's so. Do you actually spell it that way, or do you write it that way because you like want people to say it right?
I spell it out phonetically for people to be able to say it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. But I could swear I definitely know that I've seen it in I thought it was a TikTok username, but I guess it must have been somewhere else. Maybe I guess probably Facebook. So cool. Let's see who else. TikToks, woohoo. Sarah, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, Central East Florida. Welcome, Lou. Christine from Asheville. Asheville's so pretty. I haven't been there in a long time, but there's actually a pretty good hotbed of talent down there. I have several friends that live in Asheville. Um, let's see. Cy, hello from Atlanta. Hugh Klitsky. Hugh Klitsky is my commercial coach. Um, I coach beginners. He only coaches pros like me, and we basically send people to each other because, it's a good uh, synergy. I don't know, whatever, pick a buzzword. Um,
Collaboration.
there we go. All right. Thanks,
I was
Fred.
going to say Mojo.
Emoji. Yeah.
That is your mojo rising.
There you
Hugh and I just talked to him last week. I actually worked with him. I needed a brush up on my read, so we worked together. But I also kind of presented an idea, so we'll probably have um, something probably in January. We're like, let's just wait until after the holidays. There's so many things going on that it's we're better off waiting until the new year. January's pretty slow anyway, but I think Hugh and I are actually going to get together and do an event like this. So
You said brush up on my reads. A lot of people are not have any idea what you're talking about. Can you give us a brief
uh,
explanation of that?
well, I mean, part of it will be in the six pillars, but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like your technique, your reading technique, and how you approach a script, a voiceover script, otherwise known as copy. Um, and so when you but I mostly do commercials and like short form narration, which is like e-learning and corporate narration and that sort of thing. And so sometimes you kind of get like your reads, your style, your performance technique can sort of get a little rusty after a while if you want to stay relevant and competitive if you're represented by a like an agent or if you have or even if you're doing uh, custom reads for clients, which we'll talk a little bit about because I get most of my work through direct marketing. I don't actually audition very often, but when I do, I usually am a part of a very small um, circle of talent, like maybe 3 to 5 people that I'm actually up against. It's way better if those who are just curious, just by either show of hand, actually put a one in the chat if you've used a pay to play or you know what a pay to play is. Um, some of you might. I know that we have pretty, oh, there we go. Okay. So it's and we have several levels here. The six pillars, some people are here for a little bit of a refresh, sort of like my reads that Fred just brought up, like your style, the way you approach copy, you kind of need to a tweak once in a while. But the six pillars is really an overall view of what, what I can see from on how people approach the business and who has the most success and who does what. So that's kind of where things came from originally and where things are. But I know we have all levels here. I know a few faces that are definitely, you guys are already working, and some of you have been for several years. And others may, you may be here because just literally saw me on TikTok live and went, well, that sounds fun. Let me check this out. It's free. So, and no matter what level you're at, I hope that you get something out of today. And we have a lot to get to, so we'll give everybody else a couple of more minutes to come in. Montgomery, there we see her. See, that happens. Georgia, all right. Birmingham, Alabama, all right. See, you might find the start of your networking. I've had people, in happy hour, it's happened where there was two people, Lee and Chris. They've been coming to happy hour for a while, and they realized they were like 3 miles away from each other in Florida. So it's like it's a big country, but at the same time, it's sort of not. So, and happy hour is not really that big, and I've had a lot of people connect because of their location. So, I hope you guys get something, like I said, get something out of the networking, and thanks for being here. With this many of you, I always love to like talk with people, but in order for me I can't get to everybody if I were to open mics. So we'll just keep everybody muted until we get into the master class, which I will get into in just a moment. I have this. Let's see here. Let me make sure that no, I want to do that. Okay. So, six pillars. Okay. Who is that? Let's see here. I hear somebody's voice. Chris Wallace is here. I was just talking about you.
What? Can you hear me?
I think you got muted.
Oh,
I hear you, Chris.
okay.
Trish got muted.
How did I get muted?
There you are.
That's weird.
You're pushing the buttons.
Oh, it's okay. You accidentally muted me. That's okay. Oh.
I think all these handsome men just took her breath away, so she just went quiet. And then I jumped
Right.
in.
Are you trying to talk to me, Takia? I'm like looking for, okay, no, I just checked Messenger. We're good.
No, you were like, we're going to keep everybody muted. And I hit muted all, and I didn't know that muted you as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's great. No, I have that here actually. But if you want to do that once we get started, that would be great. Because I have, and I actually have, or I might have one. Do you have host tools available, Takia? Is host tools available at the bottom? Do you see that at the bottom?
I just see invite, mute all, and more.
Okay, let me
Takia's
do
a
that then,
gatekeeper.
because I'm gonna click something.
Oh, yes,
here
I
that
see
just-
those tools.
It says,
I see.
okay, if you click that and does unmute themselves, is it checked? It should be
Yes.
fourth down. Okay, so once we start, you're gonna uncheck that box.
Okay.
All
Roger
right. Thank you.
that. All this power.
Perfect. Oh, hey, so, all right. I'll be my new Zoom bouncer. So, all right. Well, we're at 7:30, so we should probably get started. I'm going to probably be looking a lot here just because I share my screen. Let me separate this here. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna, Actually, I'm not. Well, do I have that? Masterclass bundle. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna open up the slideshow and we are going to get this going. So, slideshow, here we go. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. So we are recording, right? Yay, okay. Let's get this party started. Woo, here we go, guys. You guys ready? Put a 1 in the chat. 1 to 10, how excited are you? Give me some love. I love to. So we're gonna mostly communicate in the chat. Well, not actually all communication is going to be in the chat, except for Takia. You are allowed to open your mic if you need to. So 12, the 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 10 plus. A 9, Jeremy. Why? Just a 9. That's all right. All right, 59. Okay, I'll take it. All right, I'm going to share. Here we go. Share screen. Okay. For those of you, I'm going to say this, for those of you that have never worked with me before or been in any of my events, I am more of a content-oriented person than a visually design-oriented person. So all of my slides are fairly basic. I don't go overboard with design. And so I hope that you guys can kind of move past that and understand that there's like, I worry more about the content and what I'm saying and my presentation itself than the actual, like the look of the slides. So the slides are fairly basic, but I do my best. All right. So first of all, here in the chat, let's hear it. Where in the world are you? I think you guys, some of you, there is anybody that's just coming in, can't see anything from the past. So if you could guys one more time, put in where you are in the world, as specific as you're comfortable with. And also, how did you hear about this event? Whether you came in from TikTok Live, one of my TikTok videos, Facebook, my email list. There's a few different ways. I try to really, bring events like this to light and hold a lot of these, but I always like to know when I do promotions where I should focus on the most. All right, I'm going to, and Takia probably did that already. Please keep your mics muted at all times. You're going to communicate with me solely in the chat, which actually I need to make sure that I have that open so I can actually see what you guys are saying. So I'm going to try to keep up with it as much as I can. If Takia is going to collect some questions, if I can get to them, I will during the main session. If you are VIP, I ask, or VO Vantage, which is automatic VIP, I ask that you guys keep your questions until that point, just in case anybody in main session that's not going to do that. That isn't joining us for VIP can get their question in. All right, but you're gonna communicate with me in the chat. I'm probably, at some point I'm gonna ask for comments or numbers or just various things to kind of keep things going and also kind of get a feel for the room and what you guys are looking for. All right. So this is actually, I'm going to have this. Oh, hang on. Okay. Here we go. Oh, this is it. Okay, so this is my Facebook group. Just a copy. I'm going to put this into the chat. And that way, if you guys are on Facebook, this is my free community. If you want to become part, if you don't have a home on Facebook or the internet, then that's my group that I run. We have about 1,600 members and it's a really great community. I post a few times a day along with my assistant, Mary Grace. And so between her and I, we kind of run that group. And I do announcements there. We also stream happy hour and a few other things. So there's the link for that in the chat. Let's see. All right. So getting involved, is going to be, is one of the 6 pillars, is called community. So, I also, after you guys are done with this, there's free technique lessons, home studio lessons, some marketing trainings, all in that Facebook group. And if you go there and fill out the 3 membership questions, and one of the questions is what's your email address, if you fill that out, it will, when I let you into the group, it will trigger an email that will also help you navigate the group a lot better, and have links straight back to the group and kind of to those free trainings if that's what you're looking for. Okay, a little background on me is, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Trish Bassani. I've been a full-time voice actor since full-time since 2004. I can't even, like, last year was already my 20th year and like full-time. I still make my living primarily through voiceover. I work about 2 to 3 hours a day on my own business because that's where I've built it up to, where I get all of my work. I usually do somewhere between 2 and 5 projects a day. It depends on the day. It's freelance. You never know. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 10. But basically, I've kind of been able to get all of my work done the last several years in 2 to 3 hours, which allows me time to really do whatever I want. But I've decided in the last several years that I really enjoy doing online events, holding events, and also teaching one-on-one classes, and being able to kind of help people get to the level that I've managed to get to. And I see the business, and it's changed obviously over the years. The landscape has changed kind of drastically, and there's a lot of confusion out there. So that's kind of why I'm here. That's why I teach. I love teaching, and I've been able to do that and spend the extra hours and of my day doing classes and events like this. So I have a radio background. I came in from sort of radio part-time. That's how I found voiceover, but I did spend also 10 years in corporate America. In fact, I did corporate America for most of my money until I went full-time in voiceover. I did radio always part-time. I was only part-time, so I wasn't really making much money, but I loved it. Anybody here, let me know in the chat if you're coming in from a radio background at any point. I was in it for about 8 years. I worked in classic rock. I worked in top 40. I worked in oldies. I pretty much ran the gamut on different formats. But I loved radio, but knowing that there wasn't much money in it, I definitely was looking for something else. And that's sort of how my friend, I'm not going to go into that whole story. My origin story is actually out there somewhere, but maybe I'll share that afterward, like after the, like in a link or something. I have a video about it somewhere. But basically, I was working at Party City Corporation. Party City Corporate is here in New Jersey. This is many, many years ago. This is probably like the late 90s. And I wound up getting I was sort of bored, but I wound up getting a thing at the radio station. I was an intern, and then I got like a part-time show, and then I got a regular show, and then I became a tracked jock on like a 9 to 5, but only voice tracked, so that I can actually work at my day job. And then I was actually on the radio during the time that I was actually I was actually at my day job. It was kind of crazy, but 22 years in radio, Chris. Oh, wow. I actually had no idea that you did it for that long. That's awesome. So, all right. So, but yeah, so radio is very different from voiceover. We'll find that out a little bit today. But I was able to make that jump. But one of my friends heard me he had never thought about my voice until he heard me on the radio. And I was friends with him before I did radio. And he had never said anything about my voice specifically when I was like friends with him. And then all of a sudden he heard me when I got into radio. I already knew him. So he came up to visit me, and he's like, Trisha, I was listening to you on the way. And I never really thought about your voice before until now, but like, you have a great voice behind a microphone. Like, maybe you should look into voiceover. And I'm like, what's that? And here we are. So that's basically a shortened, bulleted version of how I got started. So how the six pillars approach was developed. I've been teaching this for probably only about a year and a half, 2 years, where I actually like solidified it. Is it the only way to do this? No, but uh, I all of the people. This is like an observation. Anybody put a one if you're ADHD or neurodivergent in some way. I am totally. Uh, and there's all the ones. Woo. Um, so. I found like pattern recognition over the years, watching the last 15, 20 years of social media, Facebook groups, threads, that sort of thing, watching what certain people do and ask and what they do and who has success in doing what. This is how I came up with the six pillars. I can tell you that if you have most of these, you have a much, much, much better chance at being successful in voiceover. All of the pros, all of the full timers or people that have had any amount of success in this business and gotten to the point where they are receiving consistent work has all of these pillars. So that's kind of all of these things that I noticed over the years that, okay, the people that don't do these things don't have success, and the people that do these things do have success. So this is my pattern recognition. The six pillars, this is where this is kind of stemmed from. This is a business. There are so many different ways this business can go. I teach from commercials and short form narration. If you want to do audiobooks or animation, I can point you in the right direction, but I cannot help you because I don't really do that kind of work. But all you have to do is reach out, ask me questions, and I'm happy to recommend audiobook narration coaches or animation coaches that I know are very good and that I trust. Trust is a big thing also in coaching. So just stay on the big thing. And I know this is hard with neurodivergence, but I want you to try to focus on just what you learn in this presentation and just try to stay on the path as much as possible. You can veer off in so many different directions. Decide what you want. Meet with someone. If it's me, if it's someone else, meet with someone that is myself or is someone like me that has been in the business for a while and can help you, point you in the direction that you want to go once you decide on that. So, but detours will be everywhere. You're going to see this workshop and that workshop and this and that and all of these little things. Decide where you want to go and try not to veer off, because when you're focused, this business takes long enough. If you veer off too far, you will never come back in some cases, and you'll never get there. So just try to focus. I'm a mentor. I love working with people that want to work, and that's what I help people do. So, but just be careful after this. Like, try to stay on the path as much as possible. And this, I've had people come. I've done this presentation a couple times before. I'm going to say 2 or 3 in my frameworks group, actually. This is the greatest kind of largest response that I've gotten. So welcome. Thank you guys for being here. But I have had people in the past come to me afterwards and say, Trish, I'm actually really glad that I took the 1 hour that it took to listen to you, because I'm pretty sure that this is not what I want to do now that I know all of these things. Some people want to approach this business by buying a microphone and starting to just put themselves out there to get work. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. I've seen it hundreds, if not thousands of times. And it's okay if we get to the end of the hour and you're like, you know what? I'm glad I know this. I don't want to do this anymore because I don't think that I have enough passion to really pursue this. I don't sugarcoat the business. I don't, I love this business, but I also am very candid about what it really takes to get started. And I want to let you, and this is what this presentation is about. It's about letting people know you can't just buy a microphone and start getting work. This is a grind, just like starting a side business. I help people do it every day, but if you're not up for it, this presentation is going to help you decide on that. All right. So yeah, I try to be as honest as I can. So if you get to the end of this hour and you decide, oh, you know what, I don't think I want to go through all of that, then that's okay. Then that's the purpose, because that is the best scenario, by the way, because I've met with people that have been trying to do this for years and they haven't been able to make anything work. And it's because they usually they don't have the 6 pillars. So, all right. So this is a little bit of woo-woo mindset stuff. And as much as I used to make fun of it, Tony Robbins and all of that, there is a lot of that goes into this and the mindset that you have. You have to believe that you can do this. You just don't leave yourself any other option but success, and things will happen. But I hear it all the time. Oh, I want to do this one of these days. I will start my voiceover business, or I will take a class, or, so decide if you're going to keep saying one day I will do this, or if this is going to be day one. And if it is, then I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here anyway, no matter who you are and what your background is. I'm glad that you're here, whatever you decide. Thank you for spending this hour with me. But if you're saying one day, how much longer will you put it off? I've talked to people that have literally been trying to do this for 15 years and telling me like, oh, I've always thought about it, but I never knew what to do. And they just didn't take the steps, and now they are. So, I'm not here to beat you up, but I'm telling you that it's definitely something that you can achieve if you actually put your mind to it. So if after this masterclass that you do say, yes, this is something I want to do, there really is no perfect time to start. So just keep that in mind. And this is not my quote, by the way, but it's something you guys may have heard this recently, but being ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. All right. All you have to do is decide that you want to do this, and you're off to the races. All right. That's it. That's it with the woo-woo. All right. Give me some love in the chat, guys. Who's ready for pillar number 1? Give me some stuff here. I want to see some comments in the chat. Bring it. Woo! All right, let's go. All right. Oh, I love this. I love the cool faces, the sunglasses. All right. Let's go, guys. All right. I want to make sure actually that I do I have links that I missed? No. Okay, I want to make sure because I have a couple of links for you guys. All right, here we go. In no particular order, I will give you that towards the end of what my recommendation. Again, there's no one right way of doing this, but there are wrong ways. So we'll go through that. But these are mentioned in the presentation in no particular order, but I'll mention a recommended order towards the end. Okay, community. First and foremost, I've mentioned this when we were here in the meet and greet. For those of you that are just joining us, we talked a little bit about this, but build your network. That's why I have you share a little bit about yourselves in the chat. Tell people where you're from. You may find somebody. You'll get like the boost in morale. This can be a very isolating business, like really, really lonely if you let it. If you like that sort of thing, there are some personalities that can handle doing this and learning the thing and just going off on their own. I have students that have done that. They work with me one-on-one, they do the homework, and then they're off and running, and they don't take part in any sort of like group activities. But most of us do need that. And so community is one of my pillars because it really helped me. I noticed a boost in my confidence, my morale once, like Facebook didn't even exist yet. I mean, well, it existed, but it wasn't popular yet. When I started in 2004, when I went full time, MySpace. Anybody remember MySpace? Who remembers MySpace? And there wasn't a place to do business back then, right? So I was really just connecting with like potential clients, and I wasn't really meeting a lot of other voice actors. But once that kind of started, there was a very early, it was even before Facebook, it was called VoiceOver Universe. There is a Facebook group called VoiceOver Universe. Same guy, Rick Party, started it. But all of these things, do research, it's asking questions. There are scams in the business. There are things to really watch out for, and things that you can really get taken by if you don't have a group for support. Also, with accountability. Accountability is a big one. It's like, some people, yeah, the game show host, Alicia, for sure. That is like the scariest one. That one has been around for like 15 years, maybe more at this point. That used to be an email. Actually, it is still an email. Yeah, it hasn't really changed all that much, but I remember getting it. And the game show host email is like one of the biggest scams out there. So be careful, guys. But it's great for research, having, again, ask questions. You can do that. That's why I encourage you to join my Facebook group. If somebody could repost that link, just in case anybody missed it, that came in after I posted it, to Kia, if you could do that, or someone just copy and paste it into the current chat. My Facebook group called Voiceover Frameworks with Trish is a great community. We have about 1,600 members. You can go in, ask questions, post questions, and meet some people that might be like-minded. Thank you, Takia. So networking, again, that's why we start here, support like-minded people, and it eliminates the isolation effect, which again, some people like in VO, but most of us need people. Of course, we have to be alone when we actually work, but when we're outside of actually the recording in the booth, we like people. And it helps you at any stage of the business. All right. So next up, we have technique. So this is pillar number 2. Big money, big payments. Yeah, exactly. Be careful. Those are the two. Those are that they'll promise you a lot of money, and it'll be like, oh, that's not very big of a job. Yeah, it generally doesn't happen that way. At least not from some person finding you on your website. Okay. More than just your voice, microphone, the microphone is important, but technique is where you will make the money. This is what makes you competitive, because guess what, guys? If your reads are subpar and you have no training in the performance aspect of voiceover, you are competing against people like me that have had it. So look at each script as a story. I teach commercials and short form narration because that's what I do and that's what I make money in. And I can tell you that learning technique, this is the thing, guys, that everybody wants to skip over. I get it. It's not the sexy part of it. But if you find yourself wanting to not do this, I would not pursue voiceover. I'm just going to say it straight up. If you want to skip technique, you won't make any money. So it is really and I love teaching technique. If you work with me, I will absolutely make it so fun and understanding patterns, because that's the way that I teach. I teach in concepts, and I teach from a way of actually being able to work and so that you can look at any script and be able to use the things that I've taught you from there. I don't teach per script. All right. I teach you concepts so that you can apply it to any script that you're looking at. But if you try to skip technique and have no training in technique, it will show in your bookings. So the idea is it's voice acting, right? It's acting. Think about it's really just reading words that are not your own, but you're speaking them as if they should sound like they're your own. All right. Commercials are short stories. How do you tell a story? Do you know what you're saying? Reading comprehension, the importance of physicality, moving behind the microphone. This is what, when I work with people, this is what I delve into. It can't sound like you're reading. It's got to, you have a great voice, fantastic, but you have to also know how to read copy. All right. Saying someone else's words as if they were your own. Voice acting is acting. The beautiful thing about this, as opposed to voice acting, as opposed to regular acting, is that you don't have to memorize anything. I'm terrible at memorizing. So for me, it's wonderful to be able to skip over that part. And you never have to take your eyes off the script if you don't want to. All right. So, are you believable? Can you be relatable? Remember that you're a lot of times trying to sell something, especially in commercials, right? How does someone relate to you? Do they find like they don't know who you are, that you're a disembodied voice? Are they going to buy something from you because they can find your voice and your delivery, not just your voice, but find you relatable in the way that you deliver a script and approach the performance side? All right. The psychology of influence with words. Anybody else have a psychology background by any chance? I went to college for it a little bit. I didn't get a degree, but both of my parents are therapists. So I kind of grew up with a little bit of the psychology all in the household. But I am also fascinated with the psychology of voiceover and how our voice can influence. All right. But physicality, stance, posture, facial expressions, all of these things can really help in your reads. All right. Moving along. How we feeling out there, guys? We're on, oh, right. Second thing of technique, knowing which words to emphasize. This is a little more of like getting into what I teach, knowing which words to emphasize, which ones not to emphasize, sewing the words together. Again, making it more natural, making it sound like it's your like natural speech. Changing up the notes, making sure that you're not monotone. It's interesting to listen to someone that's never heard you before. Finding the story within the script. This is the pattern recognition. This is what I was taught, and also what I teach when I teach the basics of technique for two people, either one-on-one or in classes. Finding that story within the script, even if it's only 30 seconds long. Not just reading the words out loud. Some people tend to, I've heard people use the term practice if they are practicing reading out loud, but they haven't had any instruction on how to read. So if you are doing that, but you aren't, if you're just reading scripts out loud, sometimes you might be teaching yourself the wrong technique, and it actually might go against you because you'll start to I just recommend getting some sort of instruction before you practice by reading stuff out loud. Okay, so let's see. When to respect punctuation, when to ignore it. This is the nuance of voiceover and the things, when you're reading a script, it's like, oh, there's a comma there. Am I going to kind of, I don't know, bust through it, or am I going to actually like pause for a second, the way that the script is suggesting? All of these things are things that will make up your reads. I've been using the analogy of a house for the 6 pillars, right? Pillars hold up a house, or not so much pillars, but like studs, I guess. But what happens, like you have a foundation, you have the studs, you have the walls, you have the roof, and then you have the decoration, right? All of the 6 pillars, to me, decoration isn't not in the, it's your personality and your background and what you bring to the table that is the decoration in the house. Technique is really like the studs that hold the walls up. All right. So that's kind of how I analogize it. But the billboarding, color words, these are the things that I teach in my sessions when I first work with someone in technique. Billboarding is something, if you ever hear a commercial for Pepsi, you'll hear the word Pepsi just a little enhanced. It's something that maybe in radio, if you have a radio background, you'll be able to maybe recognize that. But billboarding is about just saying the thing that's being sold in the commercial, just enhancing it a little bit. Color words are things like, wow. Instead, you can just say wow, or you could just say the word powerful, or you say powerful. And these are just little tiny things that you can do to make your reads more interesting and to be able to make them your own. Those of you that aren't aware, if you're not aware of this after I say this, let me know. And if this is something you're just learning. Also, this is technically a grammatical rule. However, it is not enforced all the time. Again, I want to make that clear. But something to be aware of is that when we, just like using the word a or the word an is actually used the same way, they mean the same thing. But does anybody actually, well, in the chat, does anybody know the difference between when to use a and when to use an, real quick? Hang on, I have to scroll. Does anybody know that? Vowel or no vowel? Good, Sarah. So the very beginning, going into an open vowel sound, the next word is going into open vowel sound, and that's when we use an instead of a, because it just sounds nicer and the N actually connects. So we wouldn't say, or shouldn't say, it's technically not correct grammatically to say area. And while it's done in speech, because people don't always follow rules in speech, the writing of it will say a or an. However, this is a simply pronunciation difference, the and the. So it's still spelled T-H-E, but the pronunciation changes to the instead of the if the open vowel sound is after it. So instead of saying the area, which has that kind of glottal stop in it, you would say the area. Again, it's not enforced, but it is technically a grammatical rule. So these are the types of things that I try to teach in my technique lessons, and this is how I work with someone to get your reads better and more competitive. Coaching classes, please don't skip this step and try to just go straight and to get work, because of course there's always exceptions. I always hear from people, sometimes I'm surprised, but they'll come to me and they're like, actually, I booked a couple jobs without getting any training. And I'm like, okay, but you can't grow. If you want consistent work, I definitely recommend starting out. But most people do not see results if they don't get some sort of formal technique training. Okay, home studio. So we have three main components. This goes, by the way, if you already have, this is assuming that you already have a computer, right? So you have a computer, you need a microphone, you need an interface, and I would not recommend a USB microphone. You have way more control over it if you get the interface. It's a little more expensive, but you'll wind up making your audio will be so much better. All right, so DAW, D-A-W stands for Digital Audio Workspace or Workstation, and that is basically a short, lingo for your audio recording software. Audacity is totally fine to start with. If it's free, a lot of people start with it. There's no shame in it, and your audio quality is not decided by what program you use. Your audio quality is decided on what your combination of a mic and interface is. All right, so mic and interface and your sound treatment. All right, so your audio treatment is the most important. You can have a great setup and recording setup, but if your room isn't properly treated, and it will sound like crap. So I recommend an XLR condenser microphone. Do not get a dynamic mic. I don't recommend them. You can use them, but they're just not made for voiceover as much. Coming from radio, my first microphone, because I didn't know any better, was called an RE20, and it's a dynamic mic, which means they're great for podcasting and all of that. But if you want to you're going to treat the room. Voiceover is very different in that the room's got to be treated really well, and you're going to use a condenser microphone. The Shure SM7B is another example of what not to get. Great microphone. It's not a cheap mic either, but you don't need make sure you get the condenser, because that's a dynamic. All right. The RE20 and the Shure SM7B are really popular dynamic microphones. You'll find them in radio, you'll find them in podcasts, but get the condenser. All right. You don't need to spend a lot. If you can get used gear, that's fine too. That's always an option. Some people don't think about that, and you can go on Facebook Marketplace. Just be careful of scams. And there's a lot of different places. There's like a VO Gear Exchange and a few places on Facebook that people post some things if you're looking for used gear to save some money. DIY spaces, some of them sound better than my booth. For those of you that have ever seen my videos or, I have a fancy, prefab booth, but I didn't always. And the booth actually doesn't really sound that much better than my old closet that I used to record in for the first 10 years of my career. So there's no pressure on you have to get a booth. The booth doesn't really solve all that much when it comes to sound dampening. Is if you can treat a space, a closet, or get one of those, PVC booths, that's fine. All right. Let's see. So yeah, I know some of my students have like a -70 noise floor, which we'll get into in a minute. And but don't buy a booth or fancy equipment until you know it's going to pay for itself. All right. Spend the money on at least the mic and the interface, and we'll go into actually, do I have that here? Yes, I do. All right, I said that. No dynamic mics. The Rode NT1 runs around $250. You do not need anything more. I know pros with this microphone. It's a fantastic microphone for the price point. The Focusrite Scarlett, there's the 2i2, there's the Mono Solo, runs around $130. You don't need anything more for now. All right. So there you go. Yeah, it's that those fifth gens are great. Again, the DAW, Audacity, Reaper, Twisted Wave. For those of you that used to be or are in radio or have been in radio, I started out on something called Cool Edit Pro, which is now Adobe Audition, and that's what I actually still use, and I still love it. So, but use what you want. Don't let anybody ever make you feel like you need to use a particular microphone or any of your gear. It doesn't matter. All right, vocal peaks, I'm actually going to play a video. So this is like vocal peaks landing between -3, -9. This may be a little further in for those of you that are brand new to this, but I'm going to play this video, and this is like 3 minutes long, and then I will we'll actually let me just go into it now. Actually, slideshow. Okay, I'm going to mute myself so it doesn't come back through, but just watch this and let me know your thoughts in the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat while it's playing.
Guys, Trish here, just showing you a visual of what good audio should look like. And one of the best ways to be able to test this, if you're in a space that you've built, is to record several seconds, probably 15. Well, we only have about 11 here, but and I find that, by the way, down here. And but generally you want 15-20 seconds of just standing there, not saying a word, and hitting record. And so that will give you what your booth or your recording area is supposed to look like. This is great, right? So that's supposed to be as flat as possible, that middle line. And then here is the waveform. So basically you want to record yourself just standing, saying nothing, not moving, not breathing, pretty much for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then have a small script to be able to record. And then, so you can kind of test your levels. So here we have the levels up here, and on this side, this is Adobe Audition 1.5. I use an older version. No matter what you're using, you should see numbers that look like these. And basically, you want to, for your audio, your actual waveform of speaking, you want it to fall somewhere in this range. They say -3 to -9. Some people say -12, and that's okay. Everybody kind of has a different take on it, but generally I try to stick with -9 through -3. So if these natural, and what I mean by peaks is like these things right here. So, these are the peaks, right? So these are the tops of your waveform should touch, and where you're looking at these lines going over to around -6. If they were to go up further and past the -3 mark, you may want to turn your gain down. All right, so this is the other thing. So I've already recorded this this space, this room noise. And basically you want to look down here, and I'm hitting play, and this down here where the toggle is You can see these numbers right here. -60, -57 is a pretty good place to be. So that's what you're shooting for, guys. If there is some sort of like fuzz, like I'm going to record right now and my fan's on a little bit, so it's going to be a little fuzz on the waveform. I'm not going to say anything, but it's going to record the noise. See? And that's me talking. All right, so now you can see this. This is just a little bit of computer fan. And this is okay, but you could definitely get rid of this and remove it with a noise reducer. But it's great. Like this that I recorded before, it's pretty good. It's not fantastic. -60. As you go higher in the numbers, by the way, it's like it's actually quieter because they're negative, right? So it's like it's kind of how like freezing temperatures work. The higher the number, but if there's a negative in front of it, it means it's colder. Well, in this case, it means it's quieter. All right, so I hope that helps.
All right. Again, some of that maybe those of you that are brand new to this, it might be a little over your head, but at least it's never too early to learn. But basically, good audio is the marriage between the right levels in your vocals and the right noise floor, because you can if you're turning down to bring the noise floor down, but then you have to amp up the vocals, it doesn't really work. So work on making your space as quiet as possible so that and also like having your gain up so that your levels are right around the peaks that I mentioned, and you'll be good to go. There are no industry standards for gear. People may try to tell you that there is, that you have to get this microphone or you should use this sort of recording software. It doesn't matter, guys. Nobody cares as long as you're using something you know and you like. All right, so choose what you want. Again, I mean, if you stay around at least the $250 mark, you don't have to get the Rode NT1. That's just one of the examples. That's just, I would say around the 250 mark for a microphone, $250. You shouldn't go lower than that for, if you plan on doing this professionally. And about $130 for the interface, which is the Scarlett Solo. Again, if you can pay $250 for a $400 microphone, if you can get it used, by all means. Or if you can pay $100 for a $250 microphone, look online, see what's available used, and if it's worth at least $250, then that's great too. Just, find out the retail value of whatever it is that you're buying and go from there. Because you can get interfaces for like $50. If it's at least, I would say, around this price point, then you should be fine. Okay, so we're at the halfway point already. Or oh my gosh, I'm behind. But I'm going to try to get done as on time as possible without super rushing. But how are you guys feeling out there? Scale of 1 to 10.
Hey, Trish, can you go back? Someone missed something on the second, third pillar slide.
The third pillar, home studio?
Nope, one more. Yep, that one. Nope.
Okay.
Is that the second one? I think there's
This
three.
is the, actually, was it this one?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. 3 main components. So I'm going to take a quick screenshot. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. How are you guys feeling out there? Ready? All right, let's go. Demos. Pillar number 4 is demos. I can't say this enough, and I see it over and over and over again. Please don't produce your own demo. And again, there's always exceptions. There are people that can do it and put one together because they have the background, whatever it is. If you think about the time, maybe if you've ever heard of someone, or maybe you have, if you're in corporate America and you've paid someone to write your own resume. It's a formatting. It's about presenting it in a way that it looks nice. And that's exactly what paying someone else to produce a demo does. It presents you in a light that is much better than you probably could do on your own. I know audio engineers that can produce demos, but audio engineers that actually want to do voiceover, they won't touch their own demos because they're too close to it. When you are too close to your own work, you don't necessarily bring out whatever you're best at, because some other people may think differently. So I just, as much as, like I said, just like the technique, skipping and trying to produce your own demo, DIY for most people is a waste. It's just a waste of time. And remember, the guys, that time is the actual only irreplaceable resource. Money isn't. Money is replaceable. You can't get time back. So if you spend all of this time trying to learn how to produce a demo just so you can produce your own and save the money on it, you can actually spend that time working more, bringing in the money to pay someone else to get it done, because they will do a better job if they are a demo producer. I don't even produce my own demos. I don't produce demos at all. I actually, when a student comes to me and wants to get a demo produced, I do the copywriting, and I direct the demo session. I bring them through their scripts. We do a prep and a recording session. We get the snippets, and I send them to my producer, who is fantastic. And he is a voiceover demo producer. Don't skimp on it. All right. It's not just, showing what your voice sounds like, but also, but it's about what you can do, not necessarily what you have done. I'm going to actually click here, and we're going to listen real quick. This is one of my students that completed my my Violet Dream program, which is my 6-month program. I think the audio should still be on. So I'm just going to play her commercial demo, maybe the first half of it. This was produced by my producer, and both of these came out fantastically.
The countdown is on. This week only, Target is your destination for epic holiday deals. From cozy sweaters and must-have gadgets to toys that'll light up every kid's face, find everything on your list at prices you'll love. Some moments deserve to shine. With timeless designs and brilliant craftsmanship, Kay Jewelers helps you celebrate life's most precious milestones. Strong isn't just something I am, it's what I do. And I'm not stopping anytime soon. Under Armour. Dinner's ready!
What is it?
Hillshire Farm smoked sausage, cooked up with your favorite mac and cheese.
Yes!
Hillshire Farm makes dinner easy, savory, delicious, and ready in minutes. So whether it's sausage, deli meats, or fresh chicken, dinner's handled. Wherever life takes you, Honda's got your back. Honda, how we move you. When Emma took her first breath,
It's a girl.
we were there. When David needed life-saving surgery, we were ready. At Mercy Health, we're your partners through life's most important moments.
All right. Oh, I forgot to mute myself. I guess it didn't come through. That's great. Cool. So that is my student, Allison. She was working in less than a month after the program. But the question is, you need to ask yourself this. You don't even need to necessarily put it in the chat. Can you sound like that? And can you produce something like that? You have to ask like that, because that's what you're up against if you decide to produce your own. And even just the production of it. The thing is if you get the technique training, you may as well also invest in the proper production of a demo. At least that's, again, that's my take on it. Not mixing niches. Commercials and narration have to be separated. Character, audiobook, they're all on separate demos. Keep them short, about 60 seconds. Get directed by a coach. I direct demos, when you record for optimal results, or else a lot of your snippets will say, if you listened to Allison's demo and you should have heard different energy levels. Like I directed her through all of those reads so that each piece sounds totally different, because otherwise, if all the pieces sound the same, it's sort of the point is that, it's like, there's no reason to even have separate snippets if they're all going to sound the same. All right, sorry, I'm just looking at okay. Let's see. So, pillar number 5, website. Don't overthink this part. If you actually notice, one page, nice picture. She's not even in front of a microphone. Demos front and center, a little bit of about her contact information, and she doesn't have any. I know if you want to, some sort of social media link or whatever, but this is great. It doesn't need to be fancier. You don't even need the logo, but if you want to do it on Canva or something, then that's fine too. But basically have a nice picture of you. Doesn't need to be in front of a microphone. Just have the lighting really good. If you have a picture, contact info, demos, obviously, and don't go crazy on the bio. So that's basically, like, keep it basic with the website to start out with. The more you get work, the more stuff will be on there. Pillar number 6. How are we doing out there, guys? How's everybody feeling? Give me a 1 to 10. I know I can't hear that. Like, it's sort of like TikTok where I'm just talking into the phone and I'm just reading things. Woohoo. All right. Good. So, pillar number 6 is marketing. For those of you that maybe have taken I keep starting that, the VO Hustle, the 5-day challenge that I have done several times, where we spend 5 days going into the 6 pillars. Marketing, I consider, going back to the house analogy, I consider it the roof. If you build the whole thing and then you don't put a roof on the house, nothing's gonna happen, okay? Or bad things are gonna happen. If you go through all of these steps, you learn the technique, you get the demos, you get the website, and then you don't tell people you exist, it's important to do that, right? Nothing will happen if you don't market yourself. So I've built my business on direct marketing. I have over 350 regular clients, recurring clients. I don't audition all that much. Those of you, who's in the audition game right now? Just curious, who's on the pay to plays and like auditioning like crazy? The bane of ADHD. I get it, James. But the thing is like, I make it fun. We do marketing parties inside the membership. Give me a hashtag VO Vantage. Where are my VO Vantagers out there? Who's in there? Hashtag VO Vantage. And the marketing parties are a lot of fun. We do those at least once a month. And Takia's in there. And it really has to do with like just sitting down and actually doing it. A lot of it's just self-starter kind of stuff. But that's why I do body doubling inside the marketing parties. So, it's even more important. I've had some plenty talented people come to me and it's like, wow, your demos are fantastic. You have everything. You've had the training. Why am I not getting work? Well, if you're not putting yourself out there. So here's some basics on, getting out of the rat race of auditioning and being able to kind of go after this in a way that will get you recurring work that you're not auditioning for all the time. Yeah, Tishana, I'm sorry. That's a lot of times, like, it's the voices.com is like, ugh, they're the worst. They are they are the worst. So, but I haven't been on a pay to play in about 12 years. I've made a full-time living without, it's just my agents and my regular recurring clients. I get a lot of referral work and that sort of thing. So stay away from the large markets though when you're new. If you do the direct marketing thing, go after smaller cities. There's plenty of leads. This is how I teach direct marketing. Go after the small markets, the not so populated cities, right? Stay away from New York and Chicago and like in LA, like that's where everybody else goes. But if you go to Tuscaloosa or Knoxville or Albuquerque, you will find work as long as you have the demos and the website. Those are the two main components that I always tell people. There's smaller talent pools. You're not auditioning against hundreds of other people like you are on the pay to plays if you just contact ad agencies and production companies. Go overseas. I don't speak any other language except English. I don't do accents. The only accent I do is Mid-Atlantic, which is a whole different thing. But basically, I book off of my demo all the time, and War Eagle, woohoo! But I get a lot of work overseas, Europe, Northern Europe, South America, and even Central America, and like just a ton of Europe, even. I've gotten work in South Africa, even a little bit here and there in like Russia, Singapore, a couple of Asian countries. Have a great email signature, have a link to your website, and send out those emails. Be brief. Don't have 3-paragraph emails for marketing. Okay. So a little maybe sobering comments from me. Those of you that maybe came in from my live, my TikTok, those of you that have seen me teach before, I don't sugarcoat. I love this business so much, but I beg you to go the right route and really decide that you really either want to do this or don't want to do this. But don't try to go off, because I've seen people go off for years and like not get any results because they won't focus for just a little while. The things that I've mentioned so far, they do cost money. Please don't go into this and do not attempt to pursue this if you don't have any money to invest yet. I have 2 gifts for you guys that are still here. This is just for everybody that's live. And I'm going to, let's see. Oh, hang on. I'm just going to actually, these are 2 gifts. I'm just going to copy both of them, I think. Let's see, I'm going to try to put this into the chat and see. So one of them is, hang on, Day challenge replays. Okay, yeah, so these are the 2 gifts. So if you guys, hang on, cancel. Okay, there we go. First link is something called the Bridge to VO. Those of you that really want to do this, but really want to prepare yourselves for the investment of getting the training and all of that stuff, I actually wrote a 28-page guide on how to make extra money. There's so many ways of making money these days that I want to encourage you, get out of the employee mindset. If you are in a financial position where you're uncomfortable, you don't have to stay there. I'm not saying it's easy, but there are a lot of things that you can do that are opportunities out there. So that is a free download. That first link that's in the chat is something called the Bridge to VO. It's a 28-page guide. It's a PDF. Download it before it disappears. Just click the link and open it up in a different browser. And the second one are the 5-day challenges, or the 5-day challenge replays. So I'm offering that to anybody that's here to encourage you. The 5-day challenge is basically, the replays are this is an overview of the 6 pillars, but the challenge kind of goes into an hour per pillar. So it goes into a little more detail. So that's your gift. That's a way of making a copy of the spreadsheet to save in your Google Sheets or Google Drive, and you can watch those at your leisure. It will help you and kind of hopefully open your eyes on a few things. But so, this masterclass is free, but starting this business isn't. So I just want to make that clear. I want to work with people that want to work, but if you're not in the position that you can do that yet, then that's okay. But I encourage you to try to put sort of approach it in a way that you would if you were going to school for something, college. There is no college for voiceover, and this is where the disconnect, I think, happens, that a lot of people think, I'm just going to buy a microphone and start talking and people will throw money at me. And it doesn't really work that way. So I encourage you to get in the mindset of this takes about 2 years. For some people it's less before you start like getting work, but from starting of training to like full time, if you're really focused, it's about 2 years for most people, realistically. Some people can do it in less, it just depends. But I just want to, I'm here to be encouraging, but also be realistic. And because I've seen people not being able to, if you want to really do something, but you can't spend money on the things that you need to get it done, you're going to wind up in a very frustrated place. And I've seen people do it, and it's heartbreaking to watch. So put it on hold. You can, there's plenty of information that you can get online. Get involved in my Facebook group. Get involved in some things that you can afford to do. But until you really can go after this with every fiber of your being, I would hold off and focus on other ways to make money, because I see people trying to get voiceover work in order to then pay for their voiceover training, and you're sort of going backwards. The idea of getting training is so that you can get the work, but most people don't book work until they get the training. So don't put pressure on yourself to have to book voiceover work in order for you to go farther in the business and actually get the work that you want. A lot of people, well, what kind of costs should I expect for these things? Keep in mind, these numbers are not all at once. This is just an overview of the things, and kind of just me kind of letting people know what most people, by the time it's all said and done, will spend. All right, approximate pricing. A lot of coaches, including me, offer payment plans for various packages, but a lot of people do kind of go in more of a piecemeal. My 6-month Violet Dream. Oh, maybe I should change it to that. I never thought about Velvet Dream. Anyway, so the Violet Dream program, that's my top tier program. It's 6 months, and that is, it's an investment. But most people start with something smaller, and I offer different payment plans with that. But plan to somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000. Again, some people can get going for earlier than that, some people not, but at least to get an idea of what it takes, that's usually where most people wind up by the time they can get themselves to the place where you're getting consistent work. If the mindset shift is that that is a lot of money to anybody, 7 to 10 grand, right? It's a lot of money for most people. But if you look at it in a way of 3 to 4 months of take whatever your rent or mortgage is and multiply it by only 3 or 4 months, you can start a new business. When you break it down that way, it sort of seems like it's a little more reasonable, and also maybe actually you might actually be able to do it if you think about it and kind of break it up. Definitely save receipts. Yes, business tax write-off, Takia. But these are miscellaneous startup costs. Again, going into I'm not saying you have to have all that saved up before, but at least get an idea of that's what you will need by the time you get all of these things. The equipment, the sound booth shouldn't cost that much, but technique training and demos are your two biggest, high ticket, or, kind of high, what am I thinking of? High ticket prices, right? Large ticket items. Right. So, but again, the mindset is like, look at what a college education is going for these days, and you'll feel really much better about the $7,000 to $10,000 that you may spend over over a couple of years' time. Okay. Now that you know all this, what do you do first? Does anybody want to guess in the chat? Which pillar do you think that I'm going to tell you to start with, judging from what I've mentioned? I'm not going to say it out loud. I want some more. I want some more guesses. Yeah, there you go. All right, good. what can't you do without that one thing that I've really kind of hit home? What did I tell you? What did I mention that you can't do? You can't get anywhere. You can have everything else, but if you don't, it was one of the first things, maybe you guys weren't in there early enough. I would say, okay, good. Performance technique, right? You can have the best home studio. You can have a beautiful microphone. You could have really nice packaging and a fantastic looking website. But if you don't have the training, you can have demos. You can even have professionally produced demos. But if your technique is not good, you won't get hired. So I focus on technique first. And that's kind of where I did a whole slideshow on how to set that up. And now all right, just bear with me through this. So if your business was a house, I wasn't supposed to give away the answer yet, but if your business was a house, where do people tend to gather? Does anybody want to guess? Oh, what room? Yep. The kitchen. All right, going back to the analogy of the house. All right, so where do people tend to gather? In the kitchen for the most part. Which is the kitchen if we were to analogize it with the 6 pillars? Where did people gather? And this is not technique, by the way. Yeah. Okay, community, yes, but what's more of a visual pulling in people point? Nope. The website. Yes, Lou. So the website. People come to your website and they want to see you. All right. So the kitchen is, I kind of feel like the kitchen or your website is your kitchen of your online home. When someone comes to your website, your voiceover clients, what are they looking for when they visit? So this is how everything connects, right? When potential voiceover clients come to your website, what are they looking for? What do they click play on? Demos. There you go. Okay. And what are your demos there to showcase? And this is where I gave away the answer. So your technique. Yep. All right. So this is how it all connects. And this is why it works. And when you follow that path. All right. So your technique, they come to your website, they listen to your demos, they listen for your technique. That's how they download the demo. That's how they keep it. And that's how you get hired when you market to them. All right. Technique is pillar 1. The rest of them are sort of going back and forth, but I'm going to make some recommendations so you have some sort of path. You can learn everything else in between. So I recommend technique also because that's what takes the longest to develop. All right. Because you can do everything in between the technique lessons. You can learn about editing. You can learn how to get an agent and how to market and all of these things. Like you can take that you can learn right in between the lessons. But the technique lessons are the things that will hold everything together and actually get you there. All right. It'll give you the confidence to keep moving forward because the better you feel about your reads, the more you'll want to get in there and actually learn how to do your audio editing and setting up the home studio. All right, so this is my recommended order, but again, if you don't go in this order, it's not the end of the world. It's just to give you some sort of path. I would say community is second, home studio, marketing, demos, website in that order. If you just need a checklist to kind of go by, this is the one that I would recommend. Again, it doesn't really matter because all of you don't really need the website, or you don't need the website done until you have the demos, but you can't, you can build the website, but you can't really launch the website until the demos are done. So, and you can't do your marketing unless you have the home studio, because if you get work, then where are you going to record, right? So, all right, next steps, those of you that want to dive deeper with me, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and I came up with something, a little small package for you guys that for those of you that do want to learn technique, I'm calling it the 2 Pillars Starter Series. I wasn't going to put everything all together, but This is a small package that I came up with for those of you that want to work with me on a little bit of a deeper level and want to actually really start to hone in on your technique. So the first two pillars, the one pillar is obviously technique, the other is community. So I have something called the Amethyst package. That is my 3.5 hour starter package for technique training, one-on-one. This is a group version of that. So what basically I'm trying to save, because a lot of people just aren't able, that's a $497 program. If you are interested in that, let me know. But if you want to save some money and you don't quite have the funds to really go after one-on-one lessons quite yet, then this is at least an alternative for you. So this is basically like my Amethyst package in a group setting. My Amethyst package is the Copy Essentials video and worksheet, which is 1 hour long, and you will watch that. And then, so the Amethyst package goes, you watch the video with the worksheet, and then you work with me for 1.5 hours, 90 minutes first in the first session, and be able to, we basically enforce all of the concepts that I present in the video after you watch it. So we reinforce those concepts, and then there's 2 more 1 hour sessions. So it's 3.5 hours total, 3 sessions and the video. This is going to be 3 classes. I normally don't, I haven't done too many technique classes, but we're going to keep it small. There's not going to be any more than 5 people in these classes. So the Copy Essentials video, same thing. And then we have live group lesson. These are 2 hours a piece because of the multiple people. This is a chance for you to hopefully get in and start to really like work on your reads from the ground level. The 24-hour bonus I'm offering if you purchase before 10 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern, which is tomorrow, Thursday, you'll get an extra 30 minutes with me because you also get that 30-minute one-on-one. I like to really meet all of my students and understand what their goals are and try to help you as much as I can get to that next level. I've kind of sort of talked about myself as a voiceover counts like a guidance counselor, because a lot of people come to me and they sometimes bring me different things about where their struggles are. Some people, I've helped people at all levels. But you get so we have all the group lessons, and then you have the 30-minute one-on-one. If you purchase in the next 24 hours, then I'll give you an extra 30 minutes in that one-on-one. You can use that however you would like. If you want to split it up between 2 30-minute sessions, you can do that too. I'll allow it. But the Quick Start course replays is probably like 20 hours-ish more of a recorded course that I offered. I've taught twice a day for 4 days a week for 3 weeks. So it's a lot of content. It just helps you, it's replays, it's self-paced. You go through it. It's teaching pretty much everything, like an overview of everything, and we can dive in just a little bit more. So the full offer deadline is on Sunday for everything, because obviously we have to get the classes going and scheduled at some point. I'm charging $197 for it. And so the link is in the or in the chat. I think I already did that, right? Did I do that already? I'm gonna do that again. Actually, I'm gonna paste it. Oh no. Oh wait, did I put the link in there? Sorry guys. I realized I may not have. Oh, I did. Did I? I don't know. I'm gonna paste
No,
it.
you did it for the gifts, but not for this.
Oh, okay. That's why I got the links mixed up. I'm sorry, guys. So if anybody's interested in this, it's $197. Whether or not you do this package, I encourage you to also check out the my VO Vantage program. VO Vantage is my membership. It's $37 a month. So if you can't do the package today, then that is something that might be an option. It is $37 a month. It's a fantastic membership. It gets into, by the way, anybody that upgraded for VIP, you would get into everything else. If you become a member, I let in all of my VIPs or VO Vantage members into VIP for free. You get into all of my upgrades for free. Usually it's at least $47, and that fee is waived if you're a monthly VO Vantage member at $37. We meet weekly. The link to that is here. Hang on. Copy. If you want to check that out, that link is in the chat, and that is the page there. There's a lot there, but we meet weekly. This is an accountability issue. Like, this is a lot of people. You will fall off. I'm asking and I'm begging you guys, even if you don't do anything today, it's okay. But my plea to you is that you don't just take the information that you learned today and do nothing with it, unless you decide that you're not going to do this. Please don't sit on it for too long. I want you to get benefit out of this. I want you to get value out of it. I want to see you successful, whether it's through me or someone else, but I'm encouraging you to try not to go stagnant with this information. It is something that I'm really passionate about and try to get people to that next level. So VO Vantage, for a low monthly charge, has been a huge accountability and just so that you're actually taking step by step. You show up to the classes, we will make it happen. And I offer different discounts. There are coaching discounts that I give through there. There's a lot of things. Check that out. James, we actually meet on, right now we're doing we meet once a week, alternating weeks, Monday nights, and alternating weeks. So basically 1 week, Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, and then we meet on Thursday afternoons. There are replays. We have a private Facebook group. So even if you don't do that 2 pillars starter, even if you do or if you don't, I still recommend, because that is where the accountability actually happens. You'll get some in the classes, obviously, if you go with the starter package. But it's something that is really important to, kind of understand, is that, like, this is really hard to do by yourself. So if you want a paid, once you get into any sort of paid program, you're automatically leveling up in the seriousness of the people around you, because you're not just in my free Facebook group anymore, where, I have people that literally join the group and they never do anything. They never even, sometimes I never see them again. They join the group and then they're off, and they don't ever interact or anything with the group. So I'm just asking that whatever, if you got value out of today, then please, take the information and do something with it. Please reach out if I can answer any questions. Yeah, so we meet on Mondays, and then Thursdays, kind of going back and forth, Thursday afternoons. But there's a lot of other benefits, again, to the membership. That's like my first and foremost. I really spend a lot of effort and time with people in that membership, and I help them as much as I can. So I want to thank you guys for attending. And this has been, this has been great. This is like the largest group that I've had for this particular event. And I appreciate it, but I will be sending out a replay link. We're recording as is. Those of you that are not VIP, then I ask that I'm going to be taking that link away. And here's why I do this, by the way. Everybody's like, why do you do that? I'm like, because otherwise you will never watch it. If I don't, again, being a neurodivergent crowd, if I don't give you a deadline, you will never get to it. So if I give you a deadline of Saturday night, all right, you got 72 hours from now to watch the replay. For those of you that are watching, or actually, well, yeah, you have 72 hours. I will put this in the email, but you'll have access to it. If you want to upgrade to VIP after to get the forever, you can always upgrade later. You guys have that link. But thank you so much, guys. I never know how to like shut down calls, but basically what I'm going to do, stop share. Thank you guys for being here. What I'm gonna do is shut down the call. Those of you that are VIP, please go right back into the waiting room. I have Takia, that's Zoom bouncer, to make sure that only VIPs and VO Vantage members are joining me in the VIP session. Maybe if you're not today, I hope I'll see you again. But feel free to please reach out and ask any questions. Otherwise, we're starting a little late, but I promise we'll get to everybody in the VIP session. So thank you guys so much. Everybody take care, and I will see the VIPs in just moments. All right. Thank you guys. I see you soon.